Alright, welcome back guys. Welcome to the review of England 1, Croatia 0. So before we do begin, if this type of content does interest any of y'all, please do subscribe as I will be posting similar content in the upcoming games. So anyway, with all that out of the way, let's get into it. So starting off, even before the actual game did begin, there was a lot of drama circulating around this game. I mean, there was this unnecessary statistic that was going around social media about how England had never won their opening Euros game. And to top it all off, the England lineup was leaked hours before the game began. However, if I was the Croatian manager and if I had seen that lineup, I would have thought it was a bluff because it was a very, very odd lineup to say the least. Anyway, let's take a look at this lineup. So Gareth Southgate's lineup to face Croatia had English Kepa or Jordan Pickford, if you will, as the goalkeeper, with Kyle Walker as the right back. Kieran Trippier, the out and about right back for Atletico Madrid, in the left back position, with John Stones and Tyrone Mings as the two centre halves. And moving on to the midfield, it had Kalvin Phillips and Declan Rice, with Mason Mount as the number 10 and Raheem Sterling and Phil Foden as the two wingers, with Harry Kane up front. So there was a lot of reaction from this English fan base, especially after that lineup was leaked, particularly in relation to the selection of Raheem Sterling, who was out of form for quite some time, in relation to the selection of Tyrone Mings, in relation to the selection of Kieran Trippier as left back as well. And also there were questions as to why Ben Chilwell as well as Jadon Sancho weren't even in this squad. However, since England did manage to pull off a victory, I guess we can call it a tactical masterclass, if you will. Anyway, let's analyze these players a bit. So in relation to the selection of Kalvin Phillips, an absolutely superb performance. All credit must be given to Gareth Southgate for selecting him. So Kalvin Phillips today was on another level. I mean, as of late, the most talked about defensive midfielder for England has been Declan Rice. But today it was all Kalvin Phillips. He was driving the ball, stealing the ball, making these dangerous runs. He was almost like an English N'Golo Kante. And his build-up in relation to that goal that was scored by Raheem Sterling summed up his performance. A very well-deserved man of the match performance, in my opinion. So in relation to the next surprise selection, it was Tyrone Mings. I mean, there was a little bit of a question mark as to whether he could perform against a top side like Croatia, but he did prove all of the doubters wrong. He was superb, world-class, stealing the ball, making the challenges, and he was even better than most of England's so-called experienced defenders, such as Kyle Walker, who didn't have his best game against Croatia. Anyway, like the selection of Kalvin Phillips, I do believe Gareth Southgate does deserve a lot of praise for selecting Tyrone Mings as well. However, when you look at his third surprise defensive selection of Kieran Trippier in relation to the left back role, that was a very average selection, to say the least, because he was clearly out of place. We do know he's an out and about right back player who loves to cross the ball, and all of this you could see was severely lacked from Kieran Trippier when he was playing in this left back role. So in my personal opinion, I do think Chilwell or Luke Shaw would be a far better option for the upcoming games. So in conclusion of the lineup, I do know that there was a little bit of interesting choices. However, England did manage to get the job done, so fair play to them. But it must be noted that Croatia did not bring their A game. So maybe the selection by Gareth Southgate weren't really exposed to any real threat. So in my personal opinion, if England are genuinely going to challenge for the Euros this time around, they will need to improve their game overall, especially in relation to the performance in the final third. If you look at the first half, especially in the first 20 to 30 minutes, England were dominating. They were making some dangerous chances, but that final finish was severely lacking. I mean, Harry Kane especially had a very quiet game. Phil Foden had a few good chances but failed to convert. I do know one did knock the post, but still it did not count overall. So yeah, England will really have to improve their final third, finishing, especially if they are to genuinely challenge for the Euros this time around. I do feel they do have the potential, and with the way Gareth Southgate is experimenting and sort of tinkering with the squad, maybe he will be able to finally get a winning sort of formula. So that in essence is my review / reaction to the game of England 1, Croatia 0. An overall okay sort of performance by England, but there is a lot of room for improvement. So I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please do drop a like if you did, and yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one.